The thing nobody is talking about is the great divide between units and between houses. There has been a massive difference in pricing. The gap is bigger than ever. Why? And does it mean that there's going to be some bargains coming up? Stay tuned. Mr. Siljic.
Good morning, Mark.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Good morning. How are you going?
Good, bud, good. What do you reckon about the Great Divide? Are you seeing it out there?
I am seeing it. I think it's a little bit hidden in some ways because I don't think, funnily enough, I think prices more than ever for units obviously are jumping up. Everything's jumped up. But maybe physically the gap between entry-level houses and premium units might be relatively close, but more than ever in terms of the actual repayments and how much it costs to be in one, it's wider than ever.
It seems like this is a trend since COVID's been out there. Now, guys and girls, I'm going to give you some suburbs as an example. Now, we're from the northern beaches of Sydney. We're going to go DY. We're going to go units. We're going to go 10 years. And units have performed 76%.
Yes.
Okay, so you bought something for $1 million. It's gone up 760,000 in 10 years. Okay, I'm going to give you a typical suburb like NARRAWEENA, which is a typical housing suburb. I'm going to go 10 years. I'm going to go houses, and it's done.
Wow, 152.
So you bought a house for $1 million 10 years ago in NARRAWEENA. It's now gone up at 1.5 million on the million that you bought. So it's 2.5 for that house. Now, if you think that we're giving you some fake data, give me another suburb in Sydney for units.
Let's go in Sydney, so wider Sydney.
Anywhere you want.
Let's go
Think
Potts
units.
Point.
Potts Point,
So I'm going to
units, 10 years.
113, 18.
118. Give me another unit suburb. Let's go
Parramatta.
I'm thinking units, guys. I'm thinking Greater Sydney. I'm not thinking opulent. Let's go Parramatta. I'm thinking standard. I'm thinking where everyone lives. 10 years of Parramatta units.
43%. Wow. And what's a housing suburb next to Parramatta, Mark, that you can make reference to for that area? If you weren't buying a unit,
you know what? Are there many houses in Parramatta? No. But give me another house. What's around Parramatta? Can someone else? Oh, hang on. Luke's doing it. Luke's done Para units. Let's do Gaimea for Luke. We're just trying to prove a case here, guys, that units and houses, there's an explosive gap between them.
Correct.
Gaimea, units. What happened there? Gaimea units in 10 years.
%63.
Yeah. So, St. Ives. Hey, let's go to a different part. St. Ives. And guys, throw any suburbs you wanted us here. Chatswood units would be another good one. St. Ives.
There's lots of houses in St. Ives as well. Compared to houses there, I'll be very curious.
10 years. Houses have done.
Over 100%. 152.
Units.
Ooh, 52. Wow. So there's a massive difference here. There's a really, really big difference. And it's like what you can see there with all the data. It doesn't matter where in Sydney it is. it seems to be relatively consistent. Units are performing anywhere, let's say, between 40% to 70% growth over 10 years, maybe 80% growth. And all the houses consistently so seem to be, let's say, between 140 to 180% growth. So talking on average about 100% extra growth over that course of time.
Chatswood, 62% for units, and houses 124%. It's massive. It is massive. The gap between units and houses is absolutely massive the last 10 years. Michael, is this a good opportunity for people to jump into units? Does this mean that units are going to perform better than houses? Does this mean houses are going to correct downwards or do nothing for a couple of years, and units are going to correct upwards and smash it the next couple of years?
Great question. And this is sort of referencing back to what I said at the beginning of the topic today. I'm finding that everyone's lifestyles are shifting because of COVID. People wanting to be more, be able to move around more. People want less of a yard if they don't need to look after it in terms of either A, they just want to do the full country change, or I'm noticing a lot of people around, let's say, northern beaches as well. Unit lifestyle is changing. More people are starting to live in units. And I think that shift might be there with it. I'm finding that these premium units are starting to catch up to these entry-level houses, because that data we're looking at was 10-year data. Over only the past couple of years, let's say the past 3-4 years, I've found that some of the premium units, funnily enough, are really starting to close the gap. So there might be that shift there. But
the median price is just massive between houses and units. It is opened up. It had opened up phenomenally. Something that I think may have changed this phenomena is that people are labouring in their properties more than they were before. So before they were using it as a place to sleep and for a weekend, whereas I think now those extra couple of days a week working from home, 1 party, 2 parties, or even 3 parties, the kids may be staying at home. The adult kids may be staying at home a bit longer, need a house. Mum and dad may be working from home a little bit more, need a house. So maybe because offices in Sydney are shitting themselves, maybe that's because that's the whole reason of houses doing better than units, because they're not using the offices anymore.
Yeah, very, very true. And it'll be interesting because obviously from an owner-occupier perspective, yes, you're buying a property to live in, but Aussies love to make money on their property. It's probably one of the most talked about things on a Saturday, Sunday barbecue. And it just shows there with that data, if you can afford to push yourself that little bit extra and get it into a house over a unit, long term, there is some serious money to be made.
So houses are better investments than units with the way the trends are going.
For an owner-occupier, I think there's some strength there. For an investor, be careful. I think there's some hidden traps there. It's not just purely the capital growth that you got to look at. I think when you take into account your land tax, the lower yield that you have, the additional maintenance, everything like that, I still think you're going to come out on top, but I don't think it's the pot at the end of the rainbow as easy as what it appears to be, just purely off those numbers.
And I think it also comes across to building as well, with building costs. It's what's going to be, if they're going to be ramping out more real estate in the next 3, 5, 7 years, the practicality of ramping out unit blocks or the practicality of ramping out subdivisions with new homes, what's going to be popular. Funding these is going to be even more interesting over the next couple of years to see what the trend's going to do. But guys and girls, if you haven't noticed, we're telling you right now there's a massive gap between how units have performed and how houses have performed, and you take that information how you want with it. You speculate how you reckon, but I personally think it's going to be the rise of the units and either the leveling out or the fall of the houses, probably leveling out.
I agree. I just think that the bottom line is, we've spoken about this in the past, the market at the moment is an affordability market. It's who can get finance. Can you afford to stay in the property as an investment or as an owner-occupier? Can you afford to actually pay off the repayments for that property? And with houses, the prices that they are now, versus the rent, which yield-wise is probably at historical lows for houses, it's making it harder and harder to hold on to a house. So I think irregardless of whether people want a house or more, I think people are going to start to shift across to units just because it is more affordable.
And if you've just tuned in, go back to the beginning of the series. We are showing you exactly what houses in suburbs have done over 10 years and what units in suburbs over 10 years. And wherever you go in Sydney, there is a great divide. Units have done about 70 to 80% growth on average, 60, 70, 80%. Houses have done 120, 30, 40, 50% over 10 years. That is double and a bit for a house and less than double for a unit over 10 years. That's a show.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mark.
Keep punting, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
I would be buying investment property. My advice to people right now is to buy an investment property. Little one better for 600,000, two better for 7, 6, 7, 800,000. I'd be buying investment properties because I think your yields are going to explode.
Killer.
Love you. See you. Bye.